if authentic means it becomes a part of our existence, then yes. If authentic means you can trace it back 500 years, then I think we are pushing it, because then what we have now is not really, very little of what we do musically would be considered authentic.
See, when people think of Ghanaian culture, they think of drumming and dancing. That part of the culture is 100% intact. Everywhere you go, people are drumming and dancing. But sometimes now they are not playing the drums. They are drumming with their feet on the floor. They are clapping or they are rapping. Because when you rap, that's using your mouth as a drum. It's, I think, looking for drumming and dancing is not a waste of time at all. But you've got to be prepared to know what it's going to look like.
I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life.
What's Azonto?
Eh?
What is Azonto?
My own.
What is Azonto? What's Azonto?
What is Azonto?
My own tour.
No.
Azonto.
I live my life today. Yes.
More than half of all Hiplife today is what we brand Azonto. And Azonto just means the music is built around a traditional beat and not what we call a hip-hop beat, which is boom, cha, or boom, boom, cha. That's a hip-hop beat. But Azonto is bing, 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 boom.
There's no such thing as hip life. There's a little life left in my hip.
I love my life. I love my life. Somebody I live my life today. Make a change so make nobody stress.
You know, inspired with mystical and...
Oh, I listen to our local songs.
Well, I like that of 50 Cent.
Their music videos.
I prefer Luda. Ludacris.
I prefer hip-hop.
Why? Always there, a little tunchy. Don Jazzy, The Bunch.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, my favorite artist is Nicki Minaj. I love her so much. I love her style. I love her music and everything about her.
Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Yo, so you get out the way.
Favorite Ghanaian, I like Tiny.
Osha.
I like Akon.
Osha style, I like in everything. So,
I like Jarun, Ashanti.
I just love their style. Yeah, everything is genuine, you know.
And Rihanna, yeah.
I like myself.
Hip hop. I like hip hop better.
And Public Enemy and De La Soul and Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z. The only reason why those people are like that is because of their African blood. So we and them have that in common. If they had been non-African Americans, they wouldn't talk like that, they wouldn't walk like that, they wouldn't rap like that. It would not be their identity.
And I think it's very interesting. I'm not sure, though, if they are conscious of what they're doing. I mean, I think it's more about, okay, 50 Cent is, you know, or whoever they bring is a big star. And they bring him, and it's not really a conscious move to do anything. I think that if you don't have a sense of self, you've got a problem. So in that sense, it's negative. Now, I don't know whether people who are very sort of, how should we say, America, they don't necessarily have a sense of self. I think sometimes it's like there are two sides to their existence. One is their authentic self, and then one is this wannabe self. And the wannabe self is much more American than their authentic selves.
When I first saw Jesus, I wanted to be white. When Eminem started rapping, it was very tight. But not so much vanilla eyes, I lie. When he came out, I wanted his eyes and blonde hair. Yeah, it was very nice. Now I just won't bleach my body like white rice, ignoring the cries of, what if your skin fries? For the best skin toner, I will pay any price.
And so the world popular music, or the dominant world music form today, the template is Black American, Black Caribbean.
And there's a lack of awareness also that rap is not actually American in origin, it's African in origin. So if you ask somebody on the street, they think what they've done is Hiplife is actually a merger of Ghana and the West, when really Hiplife is just a progression internally.
It's actually just the natural progression, which is a fusion essentially of the traditional sounds created with African instruments and the synthetic sounds created in the Western world. And you put that together, that's Afrobeats.
And sometimes we use our own language. That's Tree, Hausa, Ga, you understand? So yeah, that's the difference.
Because Reggie Roxton was considered a revolutionist at the beginning because he used tree instead of English. And everybody was saying you can't do hip hop in English. But there is one problem, the auto-tuner.
The first one, yeah. Keep this, we're going to continue from here.
I mean, this means now that even the voice can be manipulated, so you don't even have to have a good voice or any type of voice. Whatever it is, the Ghanaian, we want to turn it to 101%. Like oversaturated. We had a thing called a tweeter, which is a sort of that cuts through the music, and they would always insist that I make sure that this really cuts the music up. And I said, if you do this, you will lose the flow, the fluidity of the music.
Young people are making music more and they cannot afford to buy expensive gadgets, so having PCs means that you have everything already programmed in there, you just have to arrange them, and that's why these kind of sounds have become popular in our music.
Sometimes when you see a gadget, you tend to overuse it.
I'm looking on. You gotta hear. That boy is looking on to. I love the ladies, yeah. But the same girl I am aiming is the same girl he is aiming.
People that do Hiplife also carry a way of life that expresses US, and in Ghana we are very much like this. We like to, be like other people. We like ourselves, but we like to be like other people, and young people like to be like US especially. In performing Hiplife music, there's a lot of what we call swag now,
This is Kuku Atopazis of I to the K to the O and Z icons. It's all about music in GH.
And it's your boy Pay Easy representing R2Ds for life. Right.
Fucking boys, one of the Kubolo, check us out. The pastor wife sexes.
Some of the music it's not really good material, but if you look closely, you see that they've developed this swag so much that for some reason it may sell them as well.
Sometimes we talk about partying, it's all part of the
Sometimes.
fun. Yeah, sometimes
Most of the riders, we party riders. So if you want to be the artist that everybody got to hear about you, then I think you should go for shallow music.
The swagger that we are describing is not an American thing, it's an African American thing.
Well, I think that I'm not sure how long that would last, but definitely before the global financial crisis, there was a certain sense that America was everything.
The first black American music to come to Africa was 212 years ago. So it's not like it went from here to there, was isolated for hundreds of years and then came back with Bob Marley or something like that. There's been this crisscrossing dialogue for hundreds of years. They were never actually out of contact. Slaves were coming from Africa and slaves were being freed and repatriated in Africa. Black soldiers, black sailors. There was always the link up going on, and black popular music, or popular music in Africa, is partly a product of that.
Well, we were colonized by the West, so at the end of the day, that's the direction we're going to go in. We get all our culture, we get a lot of culture from out there. We're forced to look beyond.
If we don't try to find out what is out there, we cannot influence our lives. So it's very good to get interconnected.
But we're living in a cosmopolitan world, so Ghanaians are actually more cosmopolitan than most Europeans. Maybe even than most Americans, because they've been having all these different realities dealing with, colonialism, this culture, that culture, traditional culture, ancient culture.
Music is universal, so the influences can just come from across anywhere. And it is no crime for the influence to come from the West only. For the fact that music is universal on its own, everything can happen within music. Sometimes you can hear a song you don't even know its lyrics, but you jam to like you're mad already,
Foreigners were never demonized in Ghana. They were always looked at as a source of interest or innovation. So while the colonialist is coming to colonize the Ghanaian is also colonizing, decolonizing himself, or taking aspects of colonial culture and turning it into something Ghanaian.
Actually, we have the African setting and we have our way of doing things. So for me, I am not going to, advise people to get into that. We should look to our African way of making music. We don't have to do it tonight.
You see, every African music has to have a distinct dance. It cannot exist as a pure musical form. Azonto really is a series of dance moves created by the Ga youth. I'm not sure exactly, probably in the last few years. Usually the music is electronic because that's the prevailing fashion, but in the olden days they used to dance to palogo. And they have developed the palogo dance moves. And then they created new dance moves from workaday experiences like ironing of your clothes. It seems to have struck a resonance with Ghanaians because they all decided it's a national music that's got to be exported, and they're getting very hot under the collar. The last time the Gas produced Azonto, which is the palogo dance, it was banned by the government. It was actually banned. They said it was indecent moves. And Azonto, I'm sure, has many indecent moves. There's one move where you smell your armpit. Yeah, but the original move in palogo is you rub your hand on a woman's behind and smell her behind. Definitely, I don't think it came out of hip-hop or hiplife itself. I think it came in tangentially from a traditional mode of dancing and has been recently integrated into hiplife, and it's given it some new moves or a distinctive dance to go with it.
This new year is a new gem. It's taking over the world right now. It's rapid fire. The rise and rise of Afrobeat is incredible. We're trying to take over the world.
The rhythm of hip life has finally evolved and broken away from hip-hop completely.
Music from this part of the world wants to say is, we are here, look at us. We are present, West Africa for me is a place with people that are very proud about themselves and have a very strong identity, very, very strong cultural and music heritage, and through music they announce themselves a lot to the world. It's as if they feel there's something that has to be looked closely at from this region, and no matter what ways they draw their attention, it does not work, but for some reason through music it works.
I'm not really part of the system. So today when the music guy people called me to say, oh, like, how can we, help you? And I was like, fuck off. I'm not part of you guys. Nobody pays me. I'm not part of anything. I'm just a fucking boy. I wish I was Rasta. I'm not even a Rasta. Nothing. I think a Booga has more stature than me.